So welcome to the stream, guys. For anyone just watching the VOD. Anyway, I just wanted to highlight this meme before we get started. Because I see these things. I haven't seen one in person. I'm still waiting for the day I actually see one of these. Have you seen one yet, Carden? Have you seen one yet, Carden?
I've seen. What's interesting is I've seen robots associated. I've actually been in a lot of defense contractor factories where I've seen a lot of these robots not used in retail, but there's versions of them that are used in stacking parts for the manufacture of airplanes. So I haven't seen them in the stores themselves, like the infamous Lowe's one. I haven't seen in our local Lowe's yet, and I haven't seen the Amazon one or any of those, but I've seen them in production, yes.
Okay, that's cool. Oh, just wondering. I haven't seen one in person yet. Anyway, so I think one of the things that was interesting to talk about today, we'll get into a little bit here. Now, this is a long, drawn-out controversy, so I'm going to try to explain it the best way I can to you guys. Please let me know if you're kind of confused at whatever. Remember vague name, bro. I don't know what that means. Sorry, man. If you can elaborate, please do. Anyway, so I'm going to show you guys a tweet right now on the screen, and you will see it's the tweet from a Mr. Raymond Buckley, who's at Chairman Buckley. Who's that? Well, he's the New Hampshire Democrat chair. Now, earlier, I guess Saturday, so over the weekend, Andrew Yang spoke at a DNC event in New Hampshire. It was like New Hampshire Democrat event. Anyway, of the 19 candidates, he spoke last. Which, if you were to go alphabetically, he'd be last, right? However, people paying attention noticed that Elizabeth Warren came out third. Bill de Blasio came out 17th or 16th. Doesn't make any sense. So there was a lot of controversy. I actually got an email from one of you guys. If you're perhaps somehow watching, shout out, man. Thank you. Where he went through and he basically talked about. So I'm going to go through. Can I show this to you guys? Oh, give me 1 second. I want to put this on the screen without showing everybody my emails.
The punchline? Yeah.
No, it's my email address. But somebody sent this. Here we go. And they went through and they talked about basically. So this is a list from the appearances at this event. A lot of you guys are probably familiar with this. In New Hampshire on Saturday, here was the speaking order. Now, you'll notice two things. One, it's not in alphabetical order. Sort of is, but not really. Two, it's not an order of polling. Again, sort of is, but not really.
Yeah.
So what happened here? A lot of controversy. A lot of controversy online. A lot of controversy on Twitter. Like I said, a lot of you guys were reaching out to the gentleman who I had shown you guys a second ago, Mr. Raymond Buckley, asking, why is this true? Raymond Buckley responded by saying, come speak with me at my office, whatever that means. Eventually, he came out and said this, however. This is about 3 hours ago. He said, hello, Yang Gang and Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang went 19th because of choices and decisions by the Yang campaign. Huh. I was not privy to their discussions. You should direct your questions to the candidate and his campaign senior staff, which would be Zach Grauman and another guy's name I'm blanking on. I apologize. I believe they'd be the senior media staff people. So, to be frank, we don't really know why he spoke last. He spoke 19th. Basically, the way they explained it is they broke it up into essentially two groups. Oh, thank you, Carbon MK7234. Thank you for the follow. They essentially broke it up into two groups. They said, and again, I showed you guys the groups and the way they were split up. Certain candidates, if they wanted to, could speak lower or higher. Was how I believe it was done. I hear you a little but this is from the guy who's in charge of the event who said, look, that was an Andrew Yang campaign decision. Okay, to be frank, because I always say this, it's easy being from Andrew Yang's supporter side thinking he's getting slighted. Dude, to be honest, these people probably care about like the one candidate they think will win and don't care about anyone else. They don't care about Andrew Yang enough to make him speak last. So I don't know why, but for some reason, according to the events, it was Andrew Yang's campaign who made the decision.
So there's this saying in the sales world, and I was a salesman forever before getting this gig. And they always say you either want to be first or you want to be last because there's definite strategic advantages to both. I prefer to be first, okay? Or last can be good as well. So I could see why maybe someone might choose to be last at any given event. You might be able to wrap up all the speakers, improve upon whatever the previous speakers had said, so on and so forth. I could see why a lot of people sensitive to Andrew Yang being, maligned in other media events might be reading more into a list than maybe was initially there. What I don't get is it's believable to me that Raymond Buckley, a guy who's not, a huge establishment cat you see around all these circles, so I doubt is, completely invested in another person's success. might say, hey, look, it wasn't my decision. Go talk to them. When all of a sudden he's, getting all this shade thrown at him online. I would then want to know what was the strategy behind choosing that, if you did indeed choose that Yang campaign, because they've made some dubious decisions. Even with us yesterday, it feels like eons ago already, but we went to the Asian American and Pacific Islanders Democratic National Committee or whatever. It's a group that, basically focuses on a lot of, the Asian American voters and their Pacific Islander companions and so on and so forth, and making sure their voice is known. And it was actually a really beautiful event full of some very enthusiastic people. And we're going to be talking about this at length later. But Andrew Yang was supposed to talk with the press there, and he did his cool Yang Gang crowd surfing in the lobby. You know what I'm saying? And those, that whole 9 yards.
Oh, thank you. Donation Semper Malice. Keep killing the streams. $2. Thank you very much, man.
Hey, yeah, thanks a lot, brother. Anyway, he totally dogged us. There was about 7 or 8 media outlets, all right, that were waiting to talk specifically with Andrew Yang. And some of them were smaller and, I guess in America more obscure, but the #1 Mandarin speaking channel was there. And it makes sense that the Asian American place, the #1 Mandarin speaking channel was there. Obviously, the #1 Indian channel was there as well. But like with full crews, then we had the San Francisco Chronicle guy or whatever the San Francisco outlet was flying down. One came from North Dakota, and then another one was flown into the event as far as Florida. And then we also had the San Onofre Nuclear Committee coming up, and the local newspapers and local television stations from San Onofre coming up. And then there was us, Problem Solver Politics. All of us had passes. We all set up for the regular press interview. He had confirmed press and then bounced. Like, they literally just came in and said, hey guys, so just so you know, Andrew Yang has already left, so obviously he won't be doing press. And some of the other press people were just super pissed. We were obviously disappointed because we were looking forward to our sit down with Andrew Yang, and we'd worked hard, gotten up at like 5 a.m. in order to start packing by 6 so we could be down there setting up by 7:30, and not getting back until 12 hours later. So we literally wasted a whole entire day without him like giving us 1 minute. I wonder if they're starting to consistently make these decisions, what the strategy. I think, at least in my mind, Andrew Yang's lost the ability to complain to a certain extent about media when you just blew off 7 or 8 channels. You can't say, oh, well, these channels aren't taking me seriously and letting me on, so we have to go to the podcasts. When, crap, I was sitting there in that media room, and he didn't show up. You know what I'm saying? And didn't even do us the courtesy of saying, hey, don't set up your cameras and sit for 12 hours like, these other 7 or 8 chumps, because we're going to be bouncing. So I really don't know what to think of senior official staff or what Buckley said at this moment. I don't know if he's just covering his tracks and he's, just saying, oh, it wasn't my decision, when who knows, maybe it was. I would want further inquiry, but I could see how senior staff could have muffed it, because it seems like they muffed it with us. I mean, am I wrong, Cody?
Yep.
I'm wrong. Okay. Figures I'm wrong. How am I wrong, Cody?
I'm going to go to google.com and type in Andrew Yang.
Okay, Andrew Yang.
So I'm searching Andrew Yang on Google.
Are you doing this incognito or with the existing cookies that you have?
With cookies, but still.
Okay.
What do you see what do you guys notice on the screen when I Google Andrew Yang? So to speak, Google Andrew Yang. What do you see?
You see all the videos of him crowdsurfing.
You see an article from Newsweek and CNN, who weren't at the event, who wrote a full story on him because he skipped media and did this. So
yeah.
I can't blame him. Like, it sucks specifically for us and the other reporters. No one else. It sucks for no one else but us. He got a great thing for himself. Like I said, CNN.com, Andrew Yang is riding a wave of support. Literally, Newsweek, Democratic contender, Andrew Yang, crowd surfs 20. So, like I said, sucked for us. It was great for him. So I get it. Like, I get it. So it sucks, but I get it.
Okay. Well, anyway, it was kind of cool. He crowd surfed. And, oh my gosh, the fervor. Like, guys, if you have yet to go to an event where the Yang Gang is present, in comparison to other gangs, I like how we're calling them gangs now,
Supporters. Yeah.
Supporters. I mean, I'm going to pull up some of these clips for the video that we do on the event. Hopefully I retained them, because we were so focused on getting the individual interview, we kind of neglected the large event at a certain point. But literally, the guy who was providing comic relief and kind of emceeing the event came out and he's like, yo, so I noticed we got a lot of Yang Gang here. And literally a third of the entire auditorium just erupts. Whoa, And he's like, yeah, so who here's for Tom Steyer? And there was like one person in the back that goes, whoop. You know? And then the hilarious part is they call out Andrew Yang first. They actually start the event headlining with Andrew Yang. So what's interesting is in this event, he was going first and Andrew Yang was getting preferential treatment. Obviously, you know, he's Asian American and they're going to want to hear from him first. Okay. But also the enthusiasm was so there. And what's hilarious is Tom Steyer followed him. And what was funny is when Andrew Yang left the stage, he went out in the crowd and he talked with some people. He did the whole crowd thing. And then he went to the foyer. It was actually in the foyer of the event that he rode. He crowd surfed and everything because the Yang Gang left the auditorium. And then when the MC came back out to introduce Tom Steyer and he started trying to rev the crowd up, he's like, whoa, like, why aren't people cheering? And he literally said, has the Yang Gang left the building? Yeah, they'd left the building because they'd gone to the foyer so they could crowd surf Andrew Yang. And without all those happy, enthusiastic people there was no crowd. there was no one cheering the Asian American Pacific Islanders event. You know, it was actually really funny to see that level of energy before and after. I mean, you could really gauge the enthusiasm that the Yang Gang brings to an individual event by seeing how enthusiastic the crowd was with them when they were there to watch Andrew Yang, and when they weren't, because Tom Steyer was on stage and they were out crowd surfing their guy in the lobby. I mean, it was really, really funny. So if you have not had a chance to go to a Yang event, obviously go. But if there's a Yang event specifically where like there's going to be other candidates speaking and other supporters present, let me tell you, I saw somebody with a Beto O'Rourke shirt on. I actually saw one. Did you see that?
No, you missed it. There was actually, if you went upstairs where the tables were, they had a full cutout. I was going to get a picture with me and the Beto cutout, but we were so busy running on.
But when we were waiting for tickets, I only saw one Beto O'Rourke shirt. But there was like 50 Yang Gang shirts, and there were some Tulsi people, and there was, with media, what was interesting, there was a lot of paid Tom Steyer people. There was like at least 2 or 3 videographers that I saw that were on the Tom Steyer payroll.
Want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
Actually, Phil, for like 1 second, I got a funny story.
Okay, well, I'm just going to keep describing about the way the event was. I found it really interesting that Tom Steyer had a lot of paid people there, especially doing media. He had a straight-up paid videographer
thank you very
there.
Much, Daniel. $3 donations. Thank you very much, Daniel.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Daniel.
I gotta make the name bigger.
And then also had whoever Tom Steyer is hiring to do his press, like he makes sure people are showing up there, because when we were at the press pass tent as well, there was a couple of people that I noticed said, yeah, I'm here with the Steyer campaign, or yeah, I'm here to cover Steyer. And they weren't there for anybody else. There was a lot of people that were like, okay, yeah, I'm here with, you know, the local TV station or the local radio station. You know, I'm interested in like candidates. Oh, we hear Tulsi's here. Oh, we hear Marianne Williams is here, so on and so forth. And their interest was very broad, but there was a lot of people there with some seriously expensive equipment that were like, I'm here to cover Tom Steyer. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and I'm curious how much of that is actually paid for by the campaign and how much of it isn't. Anyway, what do you want to pull up, my man?
Sorry, I was changing something else. Basically, I'll give you the gist of it right now. Anyone who watched the New Hampshire event I was speaking about earlier, Elizabeth Warren spoke earlier, and she had an absolutely, I think she had a 3-minute standing ovation before she spoke. Crazy, right? Well, that might be because her campaign purchased tickets and handed out thundersticks to everyone and then took the thundersticks away before they left. So I'm going to get to the article to source that. But that is why we saw such a big round of support. Oh, Semper Malice, $2. You guys weren't involved in the crowds. Dude, like I said, like Carter was saying, we were no windows, nothing, sitting for hours. Like, oh, well, eventually Andrew's going to come out. We'll speak with him. And he never came out. And then all of a sudden I'm on Twitter and everyone's like, whoa, Andrew Yang just crowd surfed. And I was like, oh, well.
Yeah, we were
there. And
then
literally 4 minutes later, they walk in. Yeah, he left. He's not going to be speaking to media. Just tell us. We won't set up. Yeah, we'll go wait over there. But whatever, man.
And, you know, honestly, I will throw myself under the bus on this one. That's kind of my fault, because I had actually said, let's go to the press box, because we have a terrestrial show with FM 98.1. And we air on our FM radio station a lot of these interviews with these candidates. And we were going to have a legit sit down that was going to be for our terrestrial program. I was like, well, why try and fight with the crowd when we can just go get our press passes? That ended up being a bad strategic decision. That same decision is what got us our first Andrew Yang interview when we were in Pershing Square at the LA rally. By the way, for those of you that are new to the channel, gosh, one of our first 10 videos was an interview actually with Andrew Yang. We've got about a 10 or 15 minute video that's just us talking with and or about Andrew Yang from the Pershing Square rally that he did in Los Angeles when he was kind of first launching his campaign in California. We got a bunch of the LA Yang gang there, but gosh, our channel had like 1,000 subscribers back then. So
No, way less, couple hundred.
a couple hundred subscribers when we first interviewed Andrew Yang. Like, we were nobody and he was nobody. Like, he was literally a statistical nobody. I don't even think he had a 0.5% in any of these polls when we first introduced him. And we were like a statistical nobody. We weren't even 4 figures. We would get excited when like one day we got 20 subscribers, you know? And so if you haven't seen that video, we actually have an interview with Andrew Yang in Pershing Square. Check that out. We were hoping this would be our second, but you know what, Zach, if you're listening, brother, you owe us an interview, man. We waited there 12 hours, man. We worked for you. Anyway, yeah, check it out if you haven't seen it, because a lot of, at least, you know, 7,000 of you guys have joined our channel after we filmed that, so you may not have noticed it in the feed. So yes, keep talking. You were talking about the possibility of Elizabeth Warren actually Confederate baiting the crowd.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the source right now. Basically, like I said, what happened was, if you watch the speech, Elizabeth Warren had I believe, like 2 or 3 minutes standing ovation. People were going crazy. It was deafeningly loud, and it looked really good for Elizabeth Warren. Now, the story that's been coming out in the last day or so is like, well, that might be because they actually paid people to be there in kind, I guess.
So this is uncorroborated hearsay, but we're looking to back it up.
I read the article, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I read the article before, and yeah, so I'm trying to find it right now for you guys. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, basically what happened was Elizabeth Warren, their campaign, literally handed out these big thunder sticks that said like Warren 2020. For those of you who don't know, if you ever at a sporting event and you see people with like these like plastic inflatable things and they hit them above their head and they go bang, 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 bang. It makes your applause sound insane. They'll typically, I see them a lot in hockey arenas. It's the way hockey arenas built. The echo's really loud. Allegedly, after the event, they took them back. So I guess they're going to reuse them. I'm trying to find the source for this guy. Sorry, I'm trying for 1 second.
Okay. I was just reading the comments here. It's getting kind of cray-cray.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, hey, shout-outs to this random person who came in who hates Andrew Yang, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm glad you showed up to our channel, even though you hate him. Hey, man, we'll win you over, maybe. So what up?
Yeah. So anyway, what would you do? What would you do, the final legend, with $1,000 a month? That's all we got. That's all we got.
Yeah, seriously, it's a good question.
So anyway, really, do you have something you want to pull up, or can I just start jamming on what I find
Keep
interesting?
filling. I'm trying to find the source.
Okay, well, this isn't filler. This is just actually a really interesting question. A big, huge talk on a couple of radio hosts today and on a couple of blogs that I subscribe to is about Elizabeth Warren being the shadow frontrunner of the DNC. You know, the suspicion is that Joe Biden will not last, not make it. His whole claim to being kind of the proverbial shoe-in is getting weaker and weaker and weaker with every blood vessel that pops, with every gaffe that makes him look like he belongs in a memory care facility. You know what I'm saying? And with every week that lead is lessening. And when you look at Elizabeth Warren, she has very much been the second choice for a lot of people. Okay, a lot of people that were predominantly Kamala Harris fans said, "Oh, we're going to vote for Elizabeth Warren if not Kamala Harris." A lot of people that were Bernie Sanders fans said, "Oh, if I don't vote for Bernie Sanders, then I'd vote for Kamala Harris." And as Bernie Sanders goes down in the polls, as Kamala Harris gaffes and says, "Oh, I'm a top tier candidate," and starts looking more and more arrogant every week, there's a lot of people that are turned off to that. And they have interestingly been split up amongst other candidates. I'm sure Andrew Yang's grabbing a couple of them, but so is Elizabeth Warren, so much and to such a degree that many people consider her the shadow frontrunner, because we've noticed in the Real Clear Politics average of polls that her number is also the only other one besides Andrew Yang's. If you inflate his large enough on the graph, see it. You know what I'm saying? Hers is the only other one that is trending upward against a sea of others that are trending downward. So I think an interesting question and an interesting video for us to analyze coming up is actually going to be a comparison not of what we thought was going to be before of Andrew Yang and Bernie Sanders as evidenced by the UBI versus the federal jobs guarantee. Now, Elizabeth Warren, and comparing her policy ideas, Bernie 2.0, versus the UBI and the carbon dividend and the freedom dividend and the democracy dollars and so on and so forth, because she is now rising up the polls, which I think is an interesting comparison. And I'd like to know from the chat what you guys think the advantage that Andrew Yang would have over Elizabeth Warren, or that Elizabeth Warren would have over Andrew Yang, and what that kind of comparison would look like. I don't know how. Actually, to be honest with you, I would say I don't know how she gets over the Pocahontas thing, especially after like she legit on her transcripts, not accidentally, but knowingly. Hey, what's up, Daniel? Welcome. Thanks for the follow. I don't see how you get over this idea that you literally just completely lied about your ethnicity in order to shamelessly get government dollars to pay for your college and get admission into a university you may not have in any other way. You know what I'm saying? So
I swear to God, I'm not crazy, but this is, you know what's funny? If I type in Elizabeth Warren thundersticks, which by the way, I read an article that actually had that sentence in there. Elizabeth Warren
I wonder what comes up if
there.
you say Elizabeth Warren thundersticks. There might be some.
No, this is what's crazy. If it is not overwhelmingly positive, it's in a foreign language, or there's no results. Don't get it, but that was there the other day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In New Hampshire, Democrats urge activists to pick a new face.
Yeah, so it's interesting stuff, but I don't know. The Warren, actually, New York Times wrote a scathing article about Elizabeth Warren where they talked about, you know how Elizabeth Warren's like against big money? Well, that was after she already raised all of the big money. Now she's being against them. I have their money already. I don't care what people think I think. So that was...
Well, see, what's really sad is there were things about Elizabeth Warren that I really liked in 03, 04. You know, 05 Elizabeth Warren was a very involved anti-bankruptcy and bankruptcy protections for consumers advocate, which was noble. Yeah, she had some crazy lefty ideas, and she said some really stupid stuff sometimes. But I remember in multiple Facebook arguments me saying, hey, you know, I think her heart's in the right place. That Elizabeth Warren in the past 10 years has been replaced, or maybe a side of her that is much more deeply dishonest has been replaced by this new version that I really struggle with. I got to tell you, I struggle with. I have a moral aversion to Elizabeth Warren, not just an ideological one. I have a moral aversion to Elizabeth Warren. It seems like she's willing to do so much more for power than I think I would feel comfortable with the leader of the free world doing. You know what I'm saying?
So I was doing my Elizabeth Warren research. I could not find verification. I did find this tweet, though, from Liberals Unite. They said, just smoking weed out of my Volcano Classic vaporizer by Stores and Bickle. My favorite way to kick back, smoke some weed, and watch C-SPAN footage of Elizabeth Warren speeches while smoking weed, #weed. That was one of the most bizarre tweets I've seen in weeks. I just had to bring that one. I have no idea. Sorry, I apologize for interrupting. That really stuck out to me as something else, man. One retweet, no likes. So there we go.
Liberals unite with a green ass. You know what I mean?
Good point,
yeah. And #weed. They didn't even hashtag Elizabeth Warren. They said Elizabeth. Oh, okay, there we are. So they hashtag Elizabeth Warren and weed. They didn't add her to it. And by the way, what kind of weird...
Hold on. I could find this. I can't find an article from the Wall Street Journal that was written 2 days ago, but I can find this on Twitter. So, I don't know, man. Baloney.
This is painful. But it's also like, how goofy is your friend if they like just smoking weed and watching C-SPAN? Now, I could get it. Like Cody, I really think that if he had his way, and correct me if I'm wrong, Cody, but I think if you could have your way, smoking some weed while watching World Wrestling might not be off the table.
Beer's fine, too.
Or a beer while watching World Wrestling. You know, a lot of people would laugh at that. I like some old movies. I could watch some old movies while consuming my, I don't know, I like some weird foods. I like empanadas and stuff like that. So, like, you know, me with my empanadas.
Aren't weird?
Well, a lot of people in America don't know about empanadas. You know what I'm saying?
In parts of the country, but not in California.
Yeah, well, not in California because we're spoiled with really good Mexican and Tex-Mex food here. But even though empanadas aren't Mexican, yes, they're South American. We can get over that cultural argument later. But anyway, yeah, what kind of friend is just sitting there smoking weed watching C-SPAN? Like, oh, man.
Well, the funniest part was that he shouted out the volcano vaporizer.
Yeah.
Like, this specific one. Like, oh, this is weird, but whatever. I just wanted to highlight that. That was really weird to me. That was just a goofy tweet. I don't know why, but whatever.
Okay, cool. So what's Kamala Harris up to anyway?
Nothing.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, let us know in chat. Yeah, what is Kamala Harris up to? I haven't heard her name mentioned about very much lately at all. I can show you where she is in the polls. We'll go with the polls real quick, but yeah, what is up with Kamala Harris? No one talks about her.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of Tulsi call-outs in the media. Tulsi's been definitely on the media talking about how the DNC's, railroading her and so on and so forth. But I mean, she's just not getting up in the polls, so I don't know how much of that is railroading.
Oh, sorry, I put the wrong part. I want you guys to look at the graph of Kamala Harris support.
Yeah,
she was on fire. Oh, is this Kamala Harris?
No, that's Elizabeth Warren.
Wow, Kamala Harris, and then all of it's eradicated. She's actually at 7.2. She's point. Actually, I believe before the last poll, thank you, Vogo. Before the very last poll taken before that first debate when she got that bump, she's actually lower than she was then. So she's worse off now than that first debate bump brought her. I mean, she's the only campaign we've seen that had a rise and then a fall. Warren's been steadily rising. She rose and then just crashed, man. She's nobody now.
Well, that's why I'm saying I've always been interested in the uptick of Elizabeth Warren, because look at that graph. I mean, from where he started at maybe 31%, Joe Biden is now at what, 29?
He peaked at 41.4 and he's now at 29.7.
Yeah, so if we look all the way back into February, I mean, basically as far as that graph goes, you're seeing a minor downtick of Joe Biden.
Oh, I forgot. Hold on a second. I do know what Kamala Harris is up to. Do you remember what Kamala Harris is up to? She's been in the news. Thankfully, in chat, they pointed it out.
What?
I don't even. I guess I want to post this on YouTube, so I can't even say what she said. But basically, somebody said that Trump had mental deficiencies in the rudest way possible, and she laughs like, "Yeah, haha, good question." And then afterwards, she's like, "Oh, I didn't hear him. I didn't know what he said." Oh, okay, that's weird. Everyone else did. I mean, I get it. I get it. We might be listening to a feed that's actually pulling from the mic, and she's just hearing ambient audio. But still, it's like, yeah, exactly. It's her mouse point. She's like, "Oh, that's a good point." Ha ha ha. Which, to be honest, I have to say this to you guys. If somebody says something and I don't hear them, you know what I probably say? That's a good point. Well said, man. Oh, that's you know what my favorite is? That's funny. That's funny, dude. And then if they say, really? That's what I'm. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. So I'll give her that leeway. However, yes, I think stuff like that is why Kamala is basically irrelevant now. When she was one of the front runners a couple months ago, she's irrelevant now. Basically, she's basically where Pete Buttigieg is. So.
Well, also, I think a lot of people are turned off by her comment saying, "I'm a top tier candidate." You know, I think that no matter who
she
you
isn't
are,
anymore. So.
Yeah, and so anyway, if you go back and you look at that graph, it's really interesting because you're looking at Joe Biden net -2. You're looking at Sanders, who was about maybe at 23%, now kicking it at 17, so he's net 5. If you look at the next one, which was Harris, she was, at best at 22. Now she's maybe, 17, it looks like on the graph, so she's -5.
No, Harris is down at 7.
Oh, down. It's gotten even worse. Oh, yeah, down at 7. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah,
so
Harris
she went
is
from 12 to
kind
7.
of irrelevant right now.
So a lot of these people have gone down 5 and 6%.
Well, yeah,
and they're all getting picked up, though. Look at how much has Elizabeth Warren gone up, though, because she was that infamous second pick. And as people are ditching their first, they're going to the second. How much has she gone up? Almost the total accumulation of the negative impact of Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren. So it's looking more and more and more that Andrew Yang is going to be up against Elizabeth Warren instead of up against somebody else on that debate
by the way,
stage.
shout out to viewer and friend of the show, Shayna Owens, for finding the what I was trying to show you guys earlier. Just give me 1 second, and I'll show you guys what I was talking about. So here's the excerpt I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Back to Mrs. Warren. It's from Boston Globe. I think it actually has article. Anyway, Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts demonstrated the sheer force of her supporters. Warren received by far the biggest reception of any candidate when she took the stage, welcomed with a 2-minute standing ovation before she uttered a word. Her campaign paid for hundreds of tickets and provided supporters with thundersticks reading win for Warren, and I believe I have from another source that they actually took away the thundersticks after the event. So,
oh no!
I guess it's easy to have a big crowd when you buy them tickets and then take them to the event. Then yeah, and then they're gonna be loud when you pass out thunder sticks for free. So yeah, that's what happens.
That's funny. Wow. So, man, they won't even let you keep the thunder sticks? That's a cheap campaign. Come on, you gotta let the people keep the thunder sticks.
They already bought them tickets. What else do you want? Freeloaders?
This is socialism. That's what it's all about.
No, exactly. That is socialism at work right there.
I was not gonna
You
say.
guys get a thunder
on.
stick. We do? Woo! All right, we need that one back. What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, yeah, we need it back. Why? Why do you need it back? We're just letting you use it. Well, can I keep it? No, you can't keep it.
Nothing better demonstrates the difference between what a public thinks socialism will give them and become and what the leaders are thinking socialism and how it's going to be useful to them and how it will serve them than what just happened with Elizabeth Warren. She buys tickets for everybody, paid for by the rich donors, okay? So the populi could come in, all right? So the peasants could come in, and they're thinking, hey, if I cheer for this lady at a meeting I don't want to go to, at least I'll get to keep the thunder sticks. But no, there's some thug from the campaign sitting at the front door saying, give me that thunder stick as they walk out. It's an analogy, a proverb, nay, may I say a parable of what socialism is. And it is so hilarious that it happened to one of the most socialist candidates. That is so funny.
Warren isn't like a socialist candidate.
Oh, she espouses an ideology sometimes that makes Bernie
No,
Sanders blush.
You're right. If you're looking for how you could define her as socialist, she'll probably say something every now and then. You go, aha, socialist. Realistically, she isn't. She's actually pretty moderate and boring when it comes to it. That's why I don't think she has a real.
Okay.
I think that's why she has a real chance of actually winning the primary. People are going to get exhausted.
Moderate?
Yeah, she's pretty moderate.
Okay.
That's her whole play.
You could poll 1,000 people and a majority would not consider Elizabeth Warren moderate.
Well, you have to compare her to who she's running against. She's more moderate than a lot of people's running against. Like Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. Oh, she's probably more moderate than Bernie. Like maybe Andrew Yang's more moderate. That's probably true. But for the most part, she's pretty moderate, man.
All right, man. I don't know about that one.
Tell me, okay, fine. Right now, name 3 socialist things three actual socialist things she actually wants to get done.
Okay, Medicare for all.
Okay, but
she wants a complete total state.
Does she want it? Does she want to get rid of private health care? Do you know that? That was Pepper Malice, $1 donation. What were your questions for Yang going to be, or are you saving them for later? Oh, we can go over that in a minute. I just want to get Cardin on this first. So, does she want to get rid of private health insurance? Do you know that?
Oh yeah, she'd get rid of it in a heartbeat. You know she would.
No.
Actually,
no. What does she actually talk about? Not what you think she would do. What does she talk about?
Well, that's actually a really good question and goes back to remember how I said that I had a moral problem with her, and honesty was one of the moral questions. You look at the book that she wrote and the articles she wrote and what she advocated for in 2006 and 2007. And she said a ton of things that were a lot more moderate and were a lot more, okay, cool, that makes sense. She either those ideas are polling wrong or they're polling wrong with the SJW activists she's trying to attract to her campaign or what. But she has completely forsaken a lot more of the rational ideas that she had before. And
so she does. You should have just lied and said, yeah, she definitely says that. Because I guess Warren does back eliminating private insurance.
No, but she went on record. No, she was on record. In fact, Google this. She was on record as at one point having said, and I'm not making up this quote, like, please fact check me in real time here. She literally multiple times said, like, eliminating private insurance would be destructive to this nation. Like, she said things where if you were just to isolate the phrase, you'd think, oh, she's a Republican. You know what I'm saying? And she's not gone from, oh, I don't know if it's a good idea. There's some people that like their program, but I definitely want a public option. She hasn't gone from moderate or center left to all of a sudden wildly left. She's pulling a Pocahontas, okay, but on Medicare for all. And if she's willing to do that in such a short turnaround without any definable data that says, okay, I really changed my mind because of X, Y, or Z thing, it shows you that she's doing it just for the power grab. And those kind of people really, really, really scare me in politics.
Yeah, How was anybody running for president of the United States of America not a power grab? They're running for presidents, dude. Is there any bigger power grab possible than running for president?
But there's two types. We all know this, and Ronald Reagan said this in his closing.
Oh, I know.
speech.
We all knew that. It's interesting.
Okay, there's two types of candidates out there. There's candidates who are civically engaged, who love their people, who love their community. And by the way, I believe this is the minority of candidates. Okay, but they do exist. Okay, not all politicians are corrupt. I don't share that worldview. I've met many politicians who are honorable men and women.
Well, the good ones are corrupt.
That I very much trust. Okay. And there's two types of candidates. There's those candidates that are advocating for their community and they're helping their community out. And, you know, they've risen up to the ranks of their 501c and they just get to a point where they realize in order for me to do more good, I need more authority. Therefore, I will campaign to get that additional authority because they genuinely want to help their communities. Okay. And then there's people that think I want that authority. I want that authority, and I will campaign saying whatever I got to say along the way to convince these losers, okay, to vote for me in order to get that authority so then I then have the power, at which point I can just do whatever I want and be however corrupt I want to be. So I don't get the sense. And by the way, you'll see these on both the right and the left. There's plenty of right-wing dudes that sell out by saying, oh, religious freedom, we're under attack, Christians are persecuted, you're going to get rounded up. You know what I'm saying? They'll BS lines as well on the right as, you know, as much as on the left. But on the left, I view Elizabeth Warren as one of these. I do not trust her. There's plenty. I trust Yang. You know what I'm saying? I trust Jim Webb. Like Jim Webb was ousted.
I'm sorry. I find this humorous.
In 2016. What?
This is one of the things that this is a separate issue, but this just came across Twitter. I thought it was really hilarious. So, for those of us in America, we don't know this. Northern Ireland is playing against Germany right now.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
In soccer and something.
Yeah.
So they have a Twitter trend for it to follow it, and this is what the Twitter trend is for Northern Ireland versus Germany. So a lot of people are freaking out, like, why is this trending on Twitter? Anyone who's curious, that's why it's trending on Twitter. Northern Ireland is playing Germany. So.
Northern Ireland. Is that what Nerger? Is that like Northern Ireland?
North I, Ireland IR, Germany GER.
Oh, if you're reading fast, I can see what people are thinking.
Exactly. So I just thought that was funny.
That's
anyway, I apologize.
Okay.
Back to what you're saying.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say, don't get confused.
Dude, the only reason I brought it up, I was going through Twitter to pull up something, and I saw that, and I was like, oh, my God, what is this? I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, man. So anyway, yeah, let's keep going. We're moving past Elizabeth Warren.
This is something I want to highlight really quickly.
Is this Fred the Felon's little GoFundMe?
Yeah, well, not so little anymore. Friend of the show, Fred the Felon, is actually doing a little bit of a program, or a GoFundMe, I guess, where he is trying to, and I'll actually open the campaign so I can just describe it in his own words. Anyway, he wants to make a giant Yang-mobile semi-truck that drives around the country. Truckers for Yang is going to have a big banner on it. I had an incredible time riding with Fred Raimi, goes by Fred the Felon. That's from Andrew Yang himself. They want to do a full wrap on my trailer for Yang 2020 to reach 3.5 million truck drivers. So this guy's in the road. Fred the Felon, again, friend of the show. I'll have the link.
In the description.
Well, there's no description. I'll link in chat.
Oh, yeah, that's
You guys can just open up and chat. I saw someone just asked, unfortunately, I kind of screwed up the first couple of streams I did on Twitch, and I did not have it set up to automatically record the VOD. I'm recording this one, so you guys will be able to find our stream VODs on YouTube in the future. Anyway, so there's the link if you guys want to help donate. However, here's the cool thing, right? Andrew Yang himself actually retweeted this.
Oh.
Saying I wanted to have a giant Yang mobile for a while. Looks like the Yang trunk may beat me to it. And I'm assuming with that Yang thing, I mean, we're already at well over half. I believe they started this GoFundMe today, and we are half over at 4.6. So if you want to help Fred out, you want to get the Yang mobile on the road, follow the link, go over there, and
I wonder what's the design going to be? They're not just going to put humanity first with the Yang Gang logo on it, right? They'd have to get something really cool and crafty. I don't know if you'd want to say truckers for Yang. Fred had actually texted me and he'd said truckers for Yang, and I don't know if he was actually referencing the logo that's going to be put on the side, if it's going to say truckers for Yang. I don't know. To me, then people might think that it's just like a trucker thing if they saw it on the side of the road. I'm curious how you could capitalize that kind of guerrilla marketing, guerrilla trucker marketing, in order to get the most amount of interest. I think it'd be funny to have a Google Andrew Yang. I think just this big sign that says Google Andrew Yang, or like, who is Andrew Yang, ? I think that would be really interesting. And then we could see what kind of uptick it'd be really interesting if you could actually track where Fred the Felon is driving and see if there's not like an uptick in Google searches in those general areas if you could geo-target it.
Well, I guess they said there's millions of truckers are going to see it, which is true. I mean, if he's on the road all day, people are going to see it.
I got to tell you, that stuff matters. I don't know if it's this way in other regions, but you know how the U-Haul trucks always have those interesting factoids on the sides? Like, did you know the largest Brontosaurus skeleton was found in, North Dakota?
Which, I have to be honest, I really do not care about the largest Brontosaurus.
Dude, I Google all that crap, man. Whenever I see it, I Google it all.
Shannon just said he's making a tracking website, so we will be able to track where he's going. So there we go.
Yes!
Question answered.
Question Shanna.
Question answered.
Thanks. She's on it. That's like the second one in this
I believe
stream.
it's Shayna. Correct us. One of us is right. I believe it's Shayna. I remember sure that's
Shayna or Shanna? How do you type that? Shay-na to clarify with us?
Either way, yes.
Anyway.
Please let us know. So just again, recap. If you want to help support Fred, like I said, he's a friend of the show. He's definitely, if you've ever seen the video early on in the Yang campaign where he rode with the truck driver and the truck driver said, well, I used to be with Trump. I guess I got to be with you now. That's Fred the Felon. So he's the reason starting it. It's one of the reasons why Yang probably retweeted this as fast as he did.
P.S. That is the coolest rapper name.
Fred the Felon?
Yeah, like if anybody could replace...
better than Ghostface Killa?
Yeah, better than Machine Gun Kelly.
Okay, well, that's not too hard.
You know what I'm saying?
Better
That's what I'm saying. Better than the mumble rappers' names.
Okay, but it's better than is it better than a Big L?
Well, I don't know. Big and then insert your name. Cool.
How about is it better than Eric B and Rakim?
Fred the Felon? I think so. It's almost kind of funny and playful that it's like Fred the Felon.
Oh, Sean, cool.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's just kind of cool. So anyway,
that'd be cool. People brought up the idea this truck is operated by a human. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that one the most now. That's the one I want to see the most. It's this truck is operated by a human. Other policies, but yeah, I just wanted to highlight that. Show you guys.
Just don't get in a wreck.
It looks like in about 7 hours he's about 70% funded. So this is probably going to actually fund pretty quickly. So we're going to see some stuff on the road with it. It's really cool.
At least it's in 24 hours. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
That's actually really
basically
cool.
in one day he'll finish it. Which is crazy.
And look at that.
Man.
All with just a bunch of $10 donations. I got a lot of respect for that. That's really, really cool. It's showing that the Yang Gang
253 donors.
Yeah, think about that. That's going to be an average of probably about $20 a donation, which is
crazy, man.
Really, really respectable. I like that.
Oh, it's hilarious.
What?
So in chat, someone said it's pronounced, it's spelled Shannon, but pronounced Shauna.
Shauna.
And he says, I know because she's my wife. So shout out to both of you guys. Thank you guys both for watching. I was wondering, I was like, oh, that's weird because it is an interesting spelling of the name. I wonder how he knows that. Oh, it's his wife's. Shout out to both of you guys. Defiant Pirate. Thank you guys both for tuning in.
That is a sick rapper name too. No, that would actually be like Fred the Felon and the Defiant Pirates. Like that's kind of like a 1960s trio. Like the Temptations.
It's not rap.
Yeah, no, I'm saying Fred the Felon could be a white rapper name.
What do you mean white rapper name?
Well, because like Machine Gun Kelly.
And
because they're always talking about it. Like, it's really funny when you listen to all of the big streams
want to hear a great
it.
rapper, white rapper name? I'm talking about white rapper. So Brother Ali. He's a white rapper. That's a great name. So, what up, Andrew? Shout out, man.
All right,
in the chat. So, like I said, man, it's any rapper, any name they want. I think you're too hung up on Machine Gun Kelly for some reason. I don't know who this guy is. I've seen him twice.
Oh, really?
When I hear that, you know who I think of? I think of Tyrese's role in Death Race, the one with Jason Statham. Wasn't that his name? Or was Machine Gun Joe, I believe. So that's what I think of.
Yeah. Hey, look, dude, I've been watching a lot of the, I was just devouring YouTube about Eminem and the mumble rappers battles and digesting all the information about what everybody's, because I like Eminem, man. The angst, bro. That brother brings some angst to the table.
You like Eminem?
You can feel it. Well, how could you not like Eminem? What are you talking about, man?
It wasn't.
You don't like Eminem?
I don't like Eminem at all. No, actually, I actually really dislike Eminem. It was Machine Gun Joe, by the way. So I got it.
Oh my gosh, he is recognized as easily, probably what best rapper of the past 10 years. Yes, come on.
All right, how much rap do you listen to?
Not a ton, but I listen to a lot of Eminem.
Okay, so there we go. I don't care about your opinion on Eminem in relation to other rappers you don't listen to.
Well, here's the deal, because I actually, this is what I'll say. There's other rappers that I really like, and I'll follow them for a short period of time. The reason why I'm an Eminem fan is because he has sustained my interest for over a decade. There have been other rappers that have not. Okay, and what's hilarious is I got a lot of big rap fans in my family, so a lot of this is just through osmosis.
So he's better than Kanye West as an artist?
No, but see, Kanye, I don't he's not strictly rap. He's like hip hop. You know what I'm saying? He's rapping like "Listen to Jesus Walks." It's epic. I totally like it.
Shout out to Taikutsu in chat. I said it wrong, I'm sure, but shout out, man. He got it.
What? Emperor Xander 666. Big guy is a boomer. Little guy is not.
Who are the 5 greatest rappers of all time, man?
5 greatest rappers.
Who are the
of all
5
time?
greatest rappers? There's only one right answer, so that's I'll give it away. It's one. Yeah, Semper got us as well. There's only one right answer.
Okay, if I were to guess, because I don't know, I haven't read any of these articles, I would guess. Okay, Eminem would have to be top
Wrong.
5. Oh, come on, no way.
Swear to God. The 5.
He's not in top 5.
Who are the 5 greatest rappers?
Will Smith, number 1.
No, dude, it's Dylon, because they spit hot fire. Look, people in chat got it. There we go.
Okay.
Little Uzi Vert. You know what?
Okay.
I'll take Little Uzi Vert over him. I'm not an Eminem guy, so.
Okay, so look, hey, they're starting to agree with me. WTF, Cody? Carden is right. If I were to guess,
obviously people like Eminem. He's huge. I just don't like him. Like he's a big artist. I've never said he's trash and he's not talented. Yeah, he can rap. I don't think he's one of the greatest of all time.
Me and Defiant Pyre got to hang out. If Carden is a boomer, then I guess I am too. Yeah, it's not hard to get labeled a boomer in these chats.
I'm a boomer. That's the only reason why I say I'm a boomer. So if I'm a boomer, you're a boomer. Jeez.
It's not hard, bro. The threshold for boomer is low. You just pretty much have to say one thing that one person doesn't disagree with or doesn't agree with, and then boom, boomer.
No, yeah. But be over the age of 16 and you're exposed to being a boomer.
You're vulnerable to being called a boomer while you're still a minor.
Yeah.
Like, how horrible is that? Imagine the social anxiety by the 17-year-olds like, oh, man, I might be a boomer soon. That was Chappelle's show, right?
Yeah, making the band. Yeah, that's one of the greatest Chappelle Show skits of all time. When Wycliffe Jean comes into the booth, you're too close, man. He just chokes him immediately. Dave Chappelle, man. This is one of the thing with Dave Chappelle back in the news. I went back and started watching a lot of clips from that show.
I've been digesting a bunch too lately.
There's people like, for example, you look at like a Joe Rogan, or you look at like a Bill Burr, look at like a Ice Cube, look at somebody like John Mayer. All these people, they've done a lot of great stuff in their lives and their careers as far as achievements. In my opinion, I still think the coolest thing any of those people did was appear on the legendary Chappelle Show, which ran like 24 episodes. And like I said, I could literally ask people who the 5 years, and people will start just naming Chappelle Show jokes in the chat. You know, like it's that important culturally. Dude, if the Rick James thing didn't get so big it burned itself out, people would still be saying that.
Yeah.
You know, what do the 5 fingers say to the face? So, there's so many jokes from that one. Yeah, breast hook from a Cambodia. What is this, man? Sugar cookies, man? Like that entire show. Oh my God, man. I could talk about it forever. So like I said,
Dude, I'll never
these
forget
great,
the San Francisco driver's licenses.
Hey, you want something cool? Give me 1 second. I want to pull up some.
Okay.
You can talk. I want to show, this is why I think Chappelle's Show, talking about hip-hop and stuff like that, this is one of my favorite live performances I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
By a couple of really talented artists. And this is what makes Chappelle's Show, because we can hear and we could talk about jokes forever. This is like legitimately one of my favorite live performances ever. And it's from Chappelle's Show. It's great, dude. It's a great song. So.
Yeah, I remember this.
I just want to shout that out and say that that's what made the show so unique. You got great stuff.
Yeah, it was actually a really cool format too. How he'd get other artists on there. You know what I'm saying? I actually really liked that. It was like a
cultural landmark. That show was insane.
It was like a late night show mixed with SNL, mixed with I don't know, like the BET Awards. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty rad, man. It was like really cool. So anyway, keep going.
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. I forgot. One of our friends, Andrew Holman, actually said he just set the video in automation. So we'll check that out real quick. Oh man, here we go. Sorry guys, I'm like flipping through like 50 tabs sometimes by the end of this. I was an H3 clip? It is. Oh no, it's someone with a very similar background.
You remember we were talking the other day about.
Check this out there. Anyway, title of the video is that UPS has already been doing self-driving, so I'll check it out.
To deliver goods. and how they were going to fill out some orders and they wanted the trucking business to be
I love his
self-driving, autonomous. Well, it turns out it's already happening, but not with Tesla.
And definitely not in
So
California.
UPS has been delivering cargo in
interesting.
self-driving trucks for months now, and no one knew about it, according to Gizmodo.
No, there's
Now
no way
their
that nobody knew
trucks
about it.
look
We've heard
normal.
about
They
these tests
look
for a
like
long
normal
time.
trucks,
But maybe
but
this
they have
wasn't
the
a test
hardware
anymore.
installed
They
to
said it
allow them
was.
to be autonomous. And if you didn't know what you were looking for, the side of the truck, it says 2 on it. 2 Simple is the name of the company. And they're a startup. They've been carrying mail across the state of Arizona for several weeks. And UPS announced on Thursday that it has made a minority investment in this company and that they've already been hauling UPS loads between Phoenix and Tucson in these self-driving trucks. And you can actually see
I was
there's
about
some
going to say
footage here.
it's definitely
showing
not in California. It's got to be
video,
one of those Midwestern states or
of
a
this
state
truck
where it's
in
like
action.
wide
Now,
open so that you
for
don't
the
have to
time
worry
being,
about it too
obviously
much.
UPS.
Okay, so all the
big-
links you guys can watch the full
big
clip.
employer.
That's really interesting though. So they are actually running private companies are running self-driving trucks on the roads today. I mean, but the thing is, they're like, yeah, that is what's going to happen. It's the reason why people say automation is a real thing. It's the reason why we see Joe Biden now talking about automation even more. I mean, Joe Biden, I've said this before, Joe Biden has pulled Andrew Yang aside many times and said, hey, guys, Andrew said, hey, I think what you're talking about with the Industrial Revolution, you're right on, man. This is like what we have to worry about.
Well, how about all these copycats, too? Because we noticed Tom Steyer talking about automation at the AAPI meeting.
Well, how can you not, though?
We
That's the
went
thing.
to. It's, well, how can you not? By not having done it until Andrew Yang came along, and now y'all just look like a bunch of copycat Johnny-come-latelys.
But
And
would you
it
rather,
totally
here's the
proved-
question. Would you rather be a copycat Johnny-come-lately or an idiot who's denying about a real thing that's actually facing our country? What's worse? Just ignoring what's happening or seeming like a Johnny-come-lately? At least he's talking about it.
I'd want you to talk about it and be Johnny-come-lately so we can look at you and say, yeah, you didn't see this coming, which makes me think that you don't see a lot of other things coming. So, yeah, talk about it. Opine. But I don't know. It's just that kind of thing bothers me. And it just makes me look, the cynical side of me comes in and makes me feel like, look, Andrew Yang, like I said, there's 2 types of candidates. There's the kind of candidates that see a problem, they want to help their community, and they recognize they need more authority to do it. I put Andrew Yang in that category, okay? And it's an attitude, okay? I don't put Tom Steyer in that category. He wants to be president, and he hates Donald Trump. So he will say whatever it takes in order to make it to the White House, buy whatever he needs to buy in order to make it to the White House. His attitude is on full display, and it's not an attitude of restoring the social fabric of America. It's not a humanity first attitude. It's a impeach and depose Donald Trump first, put me in power second, and then third, my way or the highway, get used to it, which is not what I think America looks for in a leader. They look for the people that say, hey, look, I love my community. Our community has this problem. I think I have a solution, but I need more authority in order to enact my solution. Will you vote for me?
Oh, that's the scariest pitch ever.
What?
If anyone ever came to me with that pitch, I'd say, get away from me. I'm never voting for you.
What? That we have a problem? Like if somebody said,
No,
I'm a
no.
doctor.
No, we have a problem. Cool, we have a problem. Let's talk about it. I deserve the power to solve it. Get out of here with that crap, man. No, you don't.
When did I use the D word? When did I say I deserve the power? You are making a caricature of my statement.
No, I'm just saying if a candidate ran and they ran because I need power to do this, and that was their pitch, I need the power to fix this, I would say.
Isn't that literally what every presidential candidacy is saying, I need the power of the presidency in order to enact my agenda.
Well, one, I would say
Hopefully
it's
you view
foolish
this-
because the power of the presidency is most of the time very limited, to be frank. Like when it comes
not
to
anymore with these executive orders and the Uber presidency, as constitutional professor Turley has pointed out multiple times.
You know what happens, especially now? One thing I like about the Trump presidency is that it's creating this atmosphere of when the president does something, you just sue him immediately so
I
they
agree.
can't get away with anything.
I agree.
I don't mind that. But I'm just saying it's not like you are elected president and it's like you're the CEO. You know what I mean? No, being elected president means that you're you have undue influence over the military and everything else. you're beholden to the courts, Senate, and Congress for everything else. They have to be behind you. It's one of the reasons why Senate and Congress, generally speaking, have the lowest approval rating in the country at all times. So everyone knows that's who you actually. But that's who you actually have an issue with. It's not the president. What does the president do? They don't do anything. No, Congress.
What do you mean they don't
and
do anything?
Senate.
They exercise the bully pulpit, which is a wildly influential thing.
But,
Come on.
Okay, it's so much overshadowed by what the Congress and Senate and the courts do. It just doesn't matter, man. Like, it really doesn't make that much of a difference because there's so many problems in the government that aren't the president that I think most people know. Like, when you elect a president, man, like, they're like, people, when Trump got arrested, were freaking out. I'm like, guys, he's just the president. Like, he really can't pass much.
Well, that's true.
Without a lot of help. And even then, even after he passes it, it can be held up for years. So, like,
are you suggesting that most people couldn't pass the Civics 101 test and that in their ignorance they still maintain a very passionate opinion?
If you gave me the multiplication test for 8s, I'd fail it in under 60 seconds. So, yes.
Oh, shut up. What's 8 times 8?
What's 64? 8 times 4 is 32. I have to count in my head. That's the only way I can do it.
Really?
Yeah. Like 8 times 7 is, I don't know. 56. See, again, that's what I said. That's
so it's not memorized. You legit count in your mind?
I add numbers, yeah. I can't do math.
That's actually, you have to be wildly intelligent to pull that off.
You know what I think? No, I just suck at math. It's not like I'm good at math because I add I just am awful at math because I can't do it. But you know what I think it's actually related to? I remember I read on Twitter one day that there's some people who don't have what you would consider to be an internal monologue, which is you kind of talking to yourself throughout the day. And I was like, wow, what idiots. They have internal, what losers, right? A couple months later, someone on Twitter started talking about the concept of, some people actually can't visualize things when they close their eyes. And I was like, what do you mean?
Huh.
And like, people can like close their eyes and like vision a beach in front of them. Like, I can't. Like, yeah, some people can't do it. And then I realized, like, holy cow, when I close my eyes, it's blackness. Some people can create images. I can't, just blackness forever. I get a lot of people, like I said, some people don't have an internal monologue. I talk to myself all day. So it's the give and the gig. I think that might be where my issue with some things like math comes because I can't actually visualize the numbers. I'm just kind of in my head counting 32, 40. Like, I can't do any of that on the fly. And like I said, I wonder if that's where it comes from. I wonder if it comes from the concept of not being able to close my eyes and visualize. I know there's a lot of people who say that that's actually what spurs them into becoming artists. Is they can't actually visualize things, so they draw. I'm also a miserable artist. I can't draw anything. So maybe I'm just bad at a lot of stuff. I don't know. But yeah, I thought that was kind of a fascinating aside that was just weird. So
it's
anyway,
that
hold
Diet
on.
Coke. It's the aspartame, bro.
So Cardin though, because we're coming up on like an hour here, guys. We gotta get ready.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna have to wind it down, man.
if anyone has any additional questions, anything that we didn't get to that we missed, please let us know. Oh yeah, this video is gonna be on YouTube in a couple hours, so don't worry. The only thing that sucks is in order for us to put these videos on YouTube, we have to kind of rein in the content and we can't have as much fun as we'd like to. So I might start just clipping points out for YouTube. But yeah, this VOD will be on YouTube and we'll have others as well. So don't worry, guys. You'll be able to see it.
Awesome. I'm digging.
Yeah, someone just mentioned in chat. They said that they can visualize things in their head. But they don't really have the model. I think it's probably like most. Isn't it crazy how many things in life are a bipolar or like a bimodal like scale? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like the further you are to one end, the further you are away from the other end. Like that's
Okay.
how. So I don't know, man. It just freaks me out how many things in life end up working that way. And I think that's why a lot of people get stuck in like a lot of bimodal thinking. I think it can only be these two ways, and it's like, well, a lot of things end up working that way, but they don't have to be.
Ooh, what were the questions you had for Yang? We'll end on that.
Cool. Want to go through them?
Yeah.
I'll go through mine first. My first question was I was going to ask him what Dota hero he played. He said he played Dota. I want to know what hero he played. Of course, as our friend Matthew Dominguez, we're going to ask him about his taco order, even though our boy Daniel got it. He likes chicken fajita, right?
It was chicken fajita.
Yeah, which chicken cop? That's not a taco. It's fajitas, and you eat it with tortilla. Yeah, but
Okay. So here's the ones I had. What's your favorite meme? And by the way, they're going to get deeper. We were just going to start out a little bit lighthearted to loosen things up. What's your favorite meme? Because obviously the meme generation of the Yang Gang has been prolific. So I was curious which one he liked the most because I'm sure he's seen all of the best ones. 2, he'd made a comment in his NBC interview that the sport that is most like politics is actually professional wrestling. And they said, which is actually not a sport. So I wanted him to clarify, what about professional wrestling do you see as synonymous or akin to professional politics?
you want to hear a funny thing? When we were
Yeah.
leaving the event that day, Cardin was talking, and he was talking about how they do this a lot of political rallies. Well, just anything political. They'll get up there, start talking, and then they kind of get to the point where they look at the crowd and they're like, "And Donald Trump's evil, and we gotta remove him," and they cheer, and then they kind of go on with it because they know it gets a cheer. That is literally what professional wrestlers do. It's called cheap heat. You go out there and you go, like, let's say you want them to boo you. You go, "Oh, what city are we in? Dayton? Dayton sucks, boo." Like, or the opposite. "Oh, we in Dayton? Dayton. I love Dayton." Everyone goes, "Woo!" It's cheap heat. It's going out there and just saying the thing you know how they're going to react to. I literally just want you to applaud. How can I get you to applaud? Donald Trump sucks. Woo! And they don't care about what they're saying. And that, I think, is what he's speaking about. The sense that if you understand, because here's the thing. Here's the giveaway. I'll also talk about it. All professional wrestling it's like 99% psychology.
Yeah.
It's thinking of ways.
That's fair. And not just psychology, pop psychology of the mob.
Yeah, like mob, being able to lead the mob.
Yeah, mob psychology.
Like I said, one of my favorite wrestlers ever. We talked about him before, Chris Jericho. You know what he used to do to make people hate him? He'd come out.
You're on the list.
No, he'd come out shirtless with a goofy frilly scarf, and everyone hates him. He hadn't said a word yet, and he walks all slow.
Who's that douchebag?
Yeah. So anyway, that is what when you're talking about how politics and wrestling relate. The idea of using the way you walk, the way you hold yourself, the way you dress, the way you look at the crowd, the words you say, using all of that to generate a certain reaction from the crowd is professional wrestling, and it's also politics. It's why Yang intentionally doesn't wear a tie in the debates. He does it to stand out. He does it so you talk about him. It's all the same.
All right, I can dig, brother. So anyway, here's another one. Actually, I'll just pound these out really fast. 3, you were a statistical nobody. Now you're a serious contender. What has worked and what has caused this? I'm curious from his vantage point and his senior campaign staff's vantage point, what has worked and what has caused him to keep growing and keep growing and keep growing and keep growing and keep hitting those unique donors and keep hitting those poll requirements and keep hitting those debate stage requirements. So he actually is slowly rising while everybody else is slowly declining. I'm curious what they think has been, the reason for that. Question number 4, 70% of your followers are guys. How are you going to reach out to women? I mean, 2018 was the suburban woman's repudiation. Okay. Many people say that was the demographic that swung all of these districts. So, they're a powerhouse and you need that powerhouse. And right now, over to 70% of your fan base is just a bunch of dudes. So what are you going to do to get the girls, right? Anyway, we both like Philip Howard in his book, The Rule of Nobody. He talks about the stifling effect of bureaucracy. How will you reduce bureaucracy? And I'm like, don't just give me the UBI answer. You know what I'm saying? How do you plan on reducing the bureaucracy that is stifling our economy and stifling our growth and stifling our building and stifling our businesses? See what he says there. 7, you mentioned Dota. What hero do you play? So that was my question number 7.
Gotta know.
You mentioned in the H3 podcast, it was eye-opening, the media was corrupting the message. I am wondering, how will you get UBI passed when all of a sudden you have another eye-opening experience that the AFL-CIO wants nothing to do with you or your idea because it's going to eliminate hundreds of thousands of bureaucratic jobs as it shrinks the size of government? You know what I'm saying? How are you going to get UBI passed when all of a sudden the AFL-CIO, which has been a huge help to Democrats over the years, as it has done nothing but endorse Democrats, is all of a sudden working against you? So I want to know that. Second, what are you doing for debate prep? He doesn't do well in debates. And he's also admitted that, hey, that's not really my best forte, going out when there's 20 other experienced politicians on stage and saying stupid sound bites that give me press, especially when my microphone's turned off. So I'd be curious what him and his team are doing in order to prepare him for the next debates. Is attacking Donald Trump strategically good in your mind? When's the last time you spoke with Elon Musk and what'd you talk about? And what's your cabinet dream team? I thought it'd be interesting if you could say what his cabinet's dream team would be. And then also, what do you do on the airplane in between? What do you do on the airplane in between all these different places you got to fly to?
Because he flies coach.
Yeah, he flies coach. So is he wedged between 2 obese people that should have actually bought 3 tickets? You know what I'm saying?
He had to get that joke in. He's been sitting on that joke for over 24 hours.
I'm not sitting on it. It's a reality. It's not a joke. It's a reality.
Okay, well, it's funny. You said word for word the same thing 24 hours ago. So I would say you are sitting on it.
Yeah, when I was asking the questions.
Yeah.
And now we're going over the question. So does that, what, am I not allowed to repeat things?
I just said you've been sitting on it. Yeah.
Man, Cody, you're dogging me this whole stream.
I'm not
What's
dogging
up?
you. I told you you're sitting on it.
Yeah. So anyway, I wasn't sitting on it. It just made me think about it. And maybe it might have happened to me on my last trip. So, maybe I'm a little bit sensitive. Is this a safe space for me to talk about my triggering experiences?
No.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, so that's it for the live stream today, guys. We're actually going to get prepared for another one of our videos. Really excited to make them for you. So we're going to be doing all of our show prep and all of our everything as soon as we get off the stream here. If you haven't had a chance to donate and help out the channel, please, by all means, donate. There's a link in the PayPal description as well. We're also getting the rest of the hats, the cool Problem Solver Politics hats that we got made for sale as well. So you can join the PSP Army. The videos on demand of the highlights of this stream will be showing up pretty soon. We got a pipeline working where the highlights will appear on YouTube. We look really forward to doing the stream with you guys at least twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and sometimes Saturdays and Sundays. So make sure that you guys follow us here. Give us a follow on Twitch, and we'll see you guys in the next video. This is Problem Solver Politics.